I appreciate the opportunity to speak, and I can tell you, and Tim can identify as many of the candidates can here, I'm going to tell you, this is not an easy thing to do. Running a race, I had 3 hours sleep last night, about 3 hours the night before. This is a typical thing when running a race, and your body does get worn down. It's hard, and I had somebody tell me the other day, he goes, he said, well, you know, you guys are just doing this for y'all's benefit. You know, this is a guy that doesn't vote, and, you know, typical thing. Y'all are just doing this for your own personal gain. And I said, trust me, it is not for my own personal gain. So, I am Scott Wallace. I'm from here, been here for my entire life. I own Burritos out in West Little Rock. I have a whole hog cafe up in Jonesboro, and have had several other businesses. The key in this race to me is the business experience that I've had has given me a really unique perspective that you always hear. I mean, how many of y'all heard over the years, you know, we don't need to send, and nothing against attorneys, because I've got 4 or 5 of them that do work for me all the time, and it's not against attorneys, but you need varied representation in Congress. You don't need all of one thing or none of the other. And we've got, how many times have you heard, we want people that meet payrolls, that know how to meet payrolls, know how to do a budget and things like that. Well, folks, that has been my life for the past almost 25 years. And it has also been my life to work here, provide jobs for Arkansans, for hundreds of Arkansans over the last almost quarter of a century. That, it's a real thing to you when you start doing that. When you don't take a paycheck to make sure that your payroll gets met. Fred, you know about that. And you know, it's one of those things, that's what happens when you own a business. Small business people, for the most part, are not wealthy. And I can assure you that restaurant owners are not rich people. And everybody thinks that we're the richest people on the face of the earth. It just lays me out. But anyway, the other thing is service in the community. I believe, and my dad told me many, many years ago, he said, you know, if you're going to live in the community, you got to serve the community. If you're going to have a retail business in the community, you really got to get involved in the community, and it's important to serve and do that. My dad worked very diligently over the years doing a lot of charity work, and that's something he put in my heart, and I've taken that to heart since I was a little kid. I currently serve on the Union Rescue Mission Dorcas House Board of Directors. And the government, the federal government in particular, could learn a lot from them. A whole lot. Because you have people that are at the end of their rope, and the federal government, what do they do to them when they're at the end of the rope? They either cut the rope off above them, or they keep them at the end of the rope. The rescue mission empowers people, and it doesn't enable. And that's something that the federal government needs to learn. We have got to quit enabling our society. I have strong, strong beliefs, core values I'll never compromise. I didn't compromise them when I had a radio show on KRN. I stood up for the truth, and it got me fired. And I don't know if any of y'all know that or not, but that was something that was a big deal to me. We were all over the school board here, really riding them hard. Never mentioned that the 4 members that were in control of the school board were black. It's irrelevant. If you're corrupt, you're corrupt. It doesn't matter what color skin you have. We found that they were taking tens of thousands of dollars in reimbursed expenses and never turning in receipts. Over and over and over. Michael Darr, one of the guys on the board right now, was taking his wife on school board trips and not paying the school board back for it. This kind of stuff was going on and on. We found more and more and more violations of rules, policy, everything, and that kept happening. And we stood up against it, brought it out. And by doing that, do y'all know who John Walker is? Yes. You know how much money he's cost the state of Arkansas? He has kept the Little Rock, North Little Rock, Class County schools in desegregation for 30-something years? Oh, it's been unbelievable. He was doing everything he could to get me fired. At the end of the radio show, when I was my last day, or the day before my last day, Michael Doherty, was the day before the election, sent out a card that said, "This is our community," and had "our" in big letters with quotations around it. This is our school system. We do not need to give up our majority on the school board. And I got on the radio and I said, that's racist. That is absolutely racist. You should be talking about your voting record. what you're doing in the school system and how you're going to make our schools better and quit taking money out of them for your own personal benefit. John Walker blew a head gasket. We're at the Sioux Citadel out in California, and they said, well, let's just take them off the air. We don't want the negative publicity. But you know what? They had over 1,500 phone calls and about as many emails in the next 2 or 3 days in support of me, and I had an enormous black audience. It was great, and they were furious. I got emails at home like you wouldn't believe. I was very blessed by that. But that's one of those things, God puts you in a certain spot at a certain time for a certain reason. And you are faithful to what He puts you in. And that's what we're doing here. And that's what's so important. Couple of things real quick. I think you all know we need to downsize federal government. We need to get rid of the Federal Department of Education. We need a balanced budget amendment. We need to make real immigration legislation that stops the benefits going to the people that are here illegally. They are not us. We're here rightfully, they're not. They need to go home. We'll talk. Most of y'all have heard me talk about that and how I feel about that. By the way, Secure Arkansas, I want to thank Todd and Jeannie. Let me tell you something. Those are 2 people who stand up for Arkansas. And I appreciate it. Filing that lawsuit on behalf of the people of the state of Arkansas, hey, you can't beat that. That's awesome, Todd, Jeannie. You all have my utmost respect. We have an event this afternoon in Searcy at Citizens Park at 3. So come down there. It's going to be healthcare and immigration. Please come if you can. Lastly, we've got to have in this district, we've got to have real representation. And something I learned, Robert Lewis, who founded Fellowship Bible Church, endorsed our campaign. And one thing I went through is men's fraternity. And I'm going to tell you something that's the greatest thing on the face of the earth. I love it. It teaches accountability to men. And that's something we need here. We need open accountability groups all across the district, and that's what we're going to have, and you're going to have time to sit down with me across the table and talk and get ideas, and let's see how we make this district better. I appreciate your time. I'll take your questions. Scott Wallace 2010 is our website. Get out and go vote right now. Anyway, questions?